you guys, it's Cece. Welcome back to my channel. We have Raid's 6-year anniversary coming up, and with that brings a new fusion, which we now have his skills. So we've got Lord Entertainer Fabian. He is a legendary support type, and he is a part of the Spirit Affinity. So this champion, the way that they've kind of teased us about him, they've given us kind of some background stuff, kind of mentioning something about a little bit of a self-cleanse, mentioning the fear and the true fear, and then essentially talking about his strong crowd controlling capabilities and abilities. So let's go ahead and actually read these skills. So first skill, Service in Death, attacks one enemy 2 times, and each hit steals 10% of the target's turn meter, places a true fear debuff for 2 turns if the target's turn meter is fully depleted. So the fact that out of the skill 1 alone, you can potentially place the true fear debuff is really good. The skill 2, attacking an enemy, placing a petrification debuff for a turn, has a 75% chance of placing a true fear debuff for 2 turns on all other enemies who are not under a fear or true fear debuff. And then a passive effect activates this skill whenever an enemy under a fear or true fear debuff successfully uses a skill. These 2 skills alone, okay, we'll keep reading and then I'll give my thoughts, but that is really good. Obviously, I'm newer to the game, so I don't have any champions that really do this right now, so I'm already quite excited for this. The skill 3, attacks all enemies before attacking, has a 75% chance of decreasing the duration of all enemy buffs by 3 turns, has a 75% chance of increasing the cooldowns of all enemy skills by 3 turns, grants an extra turn if there are no buffs on the enemy team after this attack. So the fact you can grant yourself an extra turn potentially, and he's got a passive. Whenever an enemy is revived, places a true fear debuff on that enemy for 2 turns, and then removes any stun, freeze, sleep, provoke, fear, true fear, and petrification debuffs from this champion before the start of their turn. Ooh, and then an aura with the ally speed in all battles by 19%. So the aura working absolutely anywhere. His passive having a little bit of that type of cleanse based on if you're hit with any of those debuffs. But this is a very strong champion that can essentially lock somebody out, ideally, right? Looking at the way the synergy that he's got within his skills, looks so good, actually. Like I said, I don't have any champions that does what he does, but I see a ton of potential in him between the decreasing the duration of the buffs, having that chance to increase cooldown, granting extra turns on yourself, all within that trying to place the true fear on them, which is potentially, they may actually miss their turn. And then if they do use a skill, it can go on a full cooldown if they get the true fear placed on them as opposed to just the fear. This is just kind of how they said it is a very strong crowd control champion. If you download Raid Shadow Legends using my link, I'm actually going to start you off with the free legendary champion on day 1. And then at level 10, level 20, and level 30, you'll get yourself an epic. That is 4 amazing champions that you can get just by downloading using my link. Now that you've downloaded using my link, you want to make sure that you are entering a new player code. You do have to enter this within 72 hours of actually downloading the game. The code that I suggest using is MONKEYKING. This is going to get you Sun Wukong, who is a legendary champion who is very good, but only here for a limited time. So you're going to want to make sure that you claim that. This is a champion I'm actually quite excited for because as I said, don't have any champions that really do this. The fact that his passive has this, yes, they're going to have an enemy potentially be revived, and he is able to actually just lock him out. So kind of an anti-revive is one way that you can think of looking at it, because even if let's say he places that true fear on them, keep in mind some of the other skills that work really well with that, where it's saying that if an enemy is under a true fear debuff and they successfully use one of the skills, then it's going to activate his second skill. So regardless, even if they are able to use one of their skills, now it's going to go ahead and activate his second skill that he has, which is huge. He is a champion that is really going to be able to lock somebody out, and I do not have anybody that does that. I don't have any champions that can very specifically target that and target that type of niche use. So I do see some potential in PvE, although that's not the place that I'm necessarily planning on building him. I am going to build him more PvP focused. So going into something like Arena, and very specifically Live Arena. I've been talking about doing a little bit more of it and noticing that is a place that I'm kind of missing in my roster of champions. This definitely fills that role for me. So even if I do bring him along and say I bring somebody else and they may potentially ban him, then that's okay, because that might allow some of my other strong champions to get through. But if he is able to get through, then even better. And of course, he's going to be a champion that we want to build speedy and quick, because we want to really take advantage of not only the passive, but really his skills. So the fact that all his skills are really bringing something to the table, I'm not reading any of these skills and being like, ah, okay, like that's all right. Yeah, it does this. Like his kit to me all around just seems so good. Keep in mind, you do want to note that this event, of course, is going to be starting on March the 10th, which means there's going to be a lot of things happening in game that you want to make sure you do so that you can get this champion. This is one I'm going to make sure that I get. So you want to make sure you have enough resources in terms of your energy, your silver, and even shards, because chances are we are going to have a champion chase going on. So right now they do have the ×2 on these sacred shards going on. We're going to have the ×2 for primal shards as well, starting on Friday, March the 7th. That's going to last 72 hours. So because we already have the ×2 happening with the sacred and the primal, chances are we are going to see a ×2 during this fusion event on ancient shards. So I'm ready. I've got my 111. I'll have some more by then because of everything going on in the game. So make sure you're doing all those things that you need to do to get yourself more of these shards. I have made a video talking about how to make sure that you get more ancient shards. Be sure that you do check that one out. For myself, I currently actually have 14 primal shards waiting, and I've been hoping to pull my first mythical. Hasn't happened yet, and I actually don't keep track of how many shards I pull, so we'll see. Any pulls I do does go towards pity nonetheless, but I am hoping to at least pull something from my mythical. Until then, though, I am waiting with my resources. I'm good on silver. Energy, I'm making sure I have enough. And then keep in mind as well that they do currently have the 6th anniversary, the package, the one that they're giving us for free. So this is going to include some energy and some shards in here. I'm actually curious because, as I mentioned, I don't think I have any champions that do any fear or true fear apart from miscreated. And even then, that's just fear. So, okay, so I have no one really that I would go ahead and specifically build, though. Like I said, when I pulled this is one that I was kind of excited for, because I was like, oh, I'll have something that can apply true fear. Because I can't see myself really building Yoshi, because that's the only thing that I think he's really got going from that makes me want to go ahead and like build this. But him being a legendary that's able with the skills versus this new champion that we're getting, like I said, all of his skills seem really good. So I'm very excited because it's going to really fill this niche that I don't really have anybody else in here that can actually do that. And I do think all of his skills are useful. I don't think he's got one in there that is really going to make him lackluster. So even throwing in books on him, it's going to make sense to me. This is a champion that I am super excited for. Let me know your guys' thoughts. What do you think of this anniversary fusion? And be sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on my journey with some of the shard pulls we'll be doing. I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Next level.